The Devil Wears Prada is a film about a recent college graduate who dreams of becoming a journalist. She lands a job in fashion at Runway magazine as a personal assistant to a powerful editor, though the story is dramatized and based on a witty exposé of New York's prestigious fashion scene. It does give the viewers a glimpse into the world of high fashion, touching on how the industry actually shapes society into what we see and experience within the real world. Fashion is a collective, consisting of many groups that are constantly evolving. Their fashion content is created within their image, identity, and perception that aids in helping others find their own personal style. It's the social scope that can capture an era. Those within the industry on many levels contribute to continuing dialogues by redefining or strengthening previously conceived notions or producing new ones through their work that can be found in collections and fashion media. The fashion industry has shaped society from areas of identity development to social and cultural movements. Fundamentally, fashion plays a role of being a medium for conversation about who we are and who we are not as a society, which leads us to the question of who are the driving forces behind this. The people who create this narrative are not only contributing to fashion through their work, but also their personal style, which is a display of mentality, personality, and belief systems, which are usually aligned with the mission of their fashion house or publication. The Devil Wears Prada portrays many different types of people who are in the same mode-oriented environment, who are building this fashion narrative together. Though these are fictional characters, they do mirror real-life people. For example, famously, Miranda Priestly is inspired by Anna Wintour, the British-American journalist and editor-in-chief of Vogue since 1988. All different types of people shape fashion and have different approaches, views, and preferred images. In The Devil Wears Prada, this is clearly depicted by how each worker has their own unique sense of fashion, even if they're not a main character. Despite residing and working in the same place, each character's looks, values, and personalities differ greatly from one another. For some specific examples of how style is a reflection of a person, I'll be having my friend Tessa over at ModernGurlz break down the most iconic characters' unique style and how it relates to them as individuals.
When creating the outfits in The Devil Wears Prada, costume designer Patricia Field set out to give the three main female characters distinctive styles that would not only set them apart visually, but also be perfectly representative of their individual personalities. Through the use of designer brands with defined aesthetics, she was able to dress Emily, Miranda, and Andy in ways that made them instantly recognizable. Emily has a penchant for Vivienne Westwood and Rick Owens, who at the time were considered less mainstream, with a penchant for experimentation. Her style is more edgy than the rest of the characters, often wearing dark colors and unique silhouettes. The colors of her wardrobe reflect her uninviting, slightly cold personality, while the eye-catching shapes reveal her inner confidence. She isn't afraid to break a supposed fashion rule here or there. Miranda often wears Donna Karan, Valentino, and of course, Prada. Throughout the course of the film, she wears variations of very similar looks, either a dress with a waist-cinching belt or a suit. The outfits are polished and professional, with a timelessness that reveals she's a woman who's seen many trends come and go. The simplicity of her outfits reveal to the audience how self-assured and experienced Miranda is. She knows what she wants and doesn't have the time or patience for anything other than that. Andy's style goes through a huge transformation over the course of the film. She starts off wearing relatively unflattering clothes with a distinctly preppy look, then begins wearing styled pieces that focus on femininity and elegance. And by the end, she's wearing a combination of both. Andy starts off looking unfashionable because she doesn't care about fashion. She's biased against it and believes that she's better than it. But after she begins dressing more stylishly and learning more about the industry, her confidence in herself and in her career grows. Her final look, when she marries the two styles, reveals how she's come to terms with both sides of herself.
So fashion is a form of communication and is psychologically linked to one's being and behaviors. As a person grows and changes, their external image will often change along with them to match the internal identity, because human society equals a dress society. The clothing a person chooses to wear expresses their influences, social freedoms, and identity. Fashion is a form of communication that translates this. Those who work in the industry help shape the world we live in and have an impact on everyone.
You think this is just a magazine? This is not just a magazine. This is a shining beacon of hope.
Even those who are not as conscious of fashion are still taking part. Like Tessa said, the character of Andy in the film initially prides herself about not caring about fashion. Yet, ironically, she sports a very preppy look. She is still dressing in a conscious manner, because preppy fashion is sociologically linked to academics and success, which was determined by the history of the style, consisting of many people who created and honed the meaning behind the look today. This is a form of pseudo-individualism, which is the illusion of choice. A vast majority of products under the same category function in a very similar manner. Ultimately, the utility is the same, but who made it, the look, and contribution to one's image is what gives the product value. Andy feels by rejecting a traditionally thought of fashionable look, she is taking a stance, but in reality, she's taking on another image that confirms her coveted identity and place in society. She does have a makeover to adapt her look to the environment, and finds further interest in fashion as a whole through this. Clothing can change one's psychological state and cognitive functions. Science has proven that the clothes we wear do affect our behaviors, personalities, and confidence, and even the way that we interact with others because of enclosed cognition. Andy's confidence and behaviors change as she has a mental shift. Her priorities and worldview have broadened because of her job. The makeover becomes less of a new look and transforms into her only look because of her transformation within, which resulted in a shift. Perception is formed by belief systems, prior experiences, and learned information. In the eyes of those around her at work, she now has a look of professional success.
Are you wearing the
Chanel boots? Yeah, I am.
You look good.
But her boyfriend disagrees and does not see her style in this manner because of his perception. That was like Andy's in the beginning of the film. The influence fashion has on society is often overlooked. Miranda in the film touched on this topic in the iconic blue sweater monologue.
And then I think it was Yves Saint Laurent, wasn't it, who showed cerulean military jackets? I think we need a jacket here. And then cerulean quickly showed up in the collections of 8 different designers. And then it filtered down. However, that blue represents millions of dollars and countless jobs.
Those who work in the industry who take on roles from designing, modeling, styling, to research like trend forecasting, advertising, writing, etc., have values, morals, beliefs, identities, and they exchange this with the public through their work. For example, in a survey of 8,000 people, consumers find that brands can bring more societal change than the government, and 53% believe that they can aid in solving social issues better. 64% of consumers purchase from brands based on the values, social, and political stance of the brand, hence taking a stance in cultural discourse through their purchases. When you buy designer fashion, you are buying ideals, morals, and values linked to the house, along with the history, lifestyle, and image. Another example is how in one study, women who were asked to carry a luxury bag, choosing Prada, identified more with capitalist values than the control group who had non-luxury bags, mirroring the values of the character Miranda in the film, who values her career greatly, which is evident by her style as Tessa explained. The character of Miranda represents many women who value their careers and carry themselves with power, purpose, and elegance, valuing their time and creations. Her fashion embodies this through her brands of choice. As previously stated, along with Prada, houses like Donna Karan and Valentino visually depict Miranda's mindset. Valentino's mission statement is to maintain couture codes and develop them, implement them, and expand them into all creations. This is a reference of the historical value in the house. They strive to diffuse style, while maintaining exclusivity and the iconic nature of the brand that has been defined long ago. Their concept lies in tradition, uniqueness, elegance, and luxury, much like the look of Miranda's magazine, her career, and herself. This is found in brand image, which is established and carried out through the life of the brand, that signifies what the house stands for in regards to their beliefs and values. This can be identified through brand identity, which are the visual brand elements such as logos, color scheme, and designs that give each piece its own distinct look that mirrors the house it was created in. It's an intimate connection between the buyer and the designer, along with the people who help navigate others to find their own personal style, such as those in publishing. The character of Emily is a high fashion look. Her genuine love for fashion can be found in her looks that embrace designers who paved the way for many new concepts and ideals to be embraced into society, such as Vivienne Westwood and Rick Owens, as Tessa stated. Designer Westwood even states herself, "You have a more interesting life if you wear impressive clothes." Clothing of Rick Owens is darkly glamorous, an avant-garde approach. Both designers capture Emily's strength, sensitivity, coldness, and confidence in a visual manner. Emily finds herself in high-end brands that wouldn't be instantly recognized by the average person because fashion is deeper than just clothing to her. Connection goes beyond her job, it's her life. Unlike Andy, who goes for more mainstream brands that are instantly recognizable and trend-aware, these characters portray a few types of people who exist in the reality of the industry. Obviously, more women and men with a variety of styles and personalities are currently shaping the industry, but like these characters, they bring their look and their personal beliefs to their work. Their fashion content is created within their image, identity, and perception, aids in helping others find their own personal style, and contributes to shaping their identity. In reality, multiple rooms full of people are giving a part of themselves in order to contribute to the fashion narrative that is shaping the world we live in through creating images, clothing, propelling movements forward, introducing concepts, and giving life to fashion that will ultimately become someone's personal style. This offers new identities, creating spaces for those who did not have a visual that aligned with them before. It's a very heartfelt exchange, as those who work in the industry produce, giving others in the world a place to belong, connect with like-minded individuals, and create the look in their life that they feel most in touch with themselves. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and comment. Thank you so much for watching.